What is up, dingoes? I have a very, very exciting video for you today. We are going to be discussing how to find undervalued cryptos. And this is a very important episode because at the end of the day, this is what we all are trying to do, is to find undervalued cryptos and profit from asymmetric information, right? We'll get into that more in a second. But first, if you like this content, please like and subscribe at the end if it added value. I appreciate it very much. Dingo's community is growing exponentially. If you want to chit chat, Telegram and Discord are in bio. We can talk about undervalued cryptos all day long, guys, all day long. And now let's jump right into it with what are we trying to do when we are researching cryptos? What are we trying to do and how do we profit from that? That's the first thing you should know when doing research, is why am I doing research right now? And that is to gain asymmetric information. And what is that? When stocks are bought and sold, when cryptos are bought and sold, there is a fundamental lack of information on the part of both the buyer and the seller about the company. So what are you trying to do? You are trying to find asymmetric information that you don't think the market has correctly priced in to the price of the crypto or stock. So that's what you are trying to do when you are researching. And that is very important to understand. And if you change your mind into finding, let's find some asymmetric information today, right? Let's find some asymmetric information. Just think about that. And that's what kind of you have to do when researching cryptos. So let's go ahead and just go over my tips real quick. So first off, be an insider. Unlike in traditional finance and in this traditional stock market, you can't really be an insider because all their information is withheld. But fortunately, crypto is the only asset class where you can be an insider because 99% of the information happens on public forums. And this is very important because we all have access to the public forums usually. Some groups might have private Telegram chats and X, Y, and Z to keep insiders inside and outsiders outside, but that's not usual. It's usually happening on Discord, and the cryptos ethos is usually open source and X, Y, and Z. You just have to be able to find and interpret the data correctly to find asymmetric information. So first, here's some tips. First, when you are looking for crypto, for undervalued crypto, you gotta look good and feel good. That's why I got this little jacket on today. I feel good and looking good. And at the very end, I do have a crypto to bring up to you guys that I've been keeping an eye on. So make sure you stay tuned till the end. Next tip is follow developers. Third tip is join Discords and Telegrams and look in the dev chat. Read white papers. Have an exit plan prior to entering the position. Responsibly speculate. No more than 5% of your total portfolio in very speculative assets. Follow all individuals associated with that crypto. And then questions you need to ask yourself: events, mainnet events, upcoming events, mainnet launch, etc. Utility more than yield farming. If your token only has governance and yield farming utility, it's not worth much, guys. No matter what, it's not worth much. Unfortunately, that is true for most DeFi tokens. Quality of team and developers and active communities. Those are some just really easy questions to ask yourself prior to getting. Those are some red flags if you potentially have those, right? So let's go ahead and go into some tips, and later on I'm going to go through a live process of thinking through a project, guys, and we can do this together. So let's go ahead. One good place to start researching is Web3 grants. A lot of Polkadot ecosystem tokens, and they give out grants every quarter of promising projects. I mean, if you go down from second quarter, there's Robonomics, right, which had a huge price surge, and it's a good project. Still like it. And there's a lot of other ones, guys. Centrifuge, DApp Force, Fallen Network. Fallen's pumping hard recently, guys. So there's grants all the time. Obviously, there's some crappy tokens and crappy projects in there. You gotta just weed it out using your brain. You gotta use your brain, guys. It's very difficult to profit if you are using somebody else's brain, in terms of you are not creating your own insightful thoughts, right? So keep that in mind. You can do it, it's possible, but also it's a lot more difficult. So let's talk about how some other tips is follow people like Funship is a joke. He's into into a lot of altcoins, and he's kind of aping into altcoins all the time. I mean, he's a good person to follow just to kind of get into his mindset, and another good way is to look at what he's liking on Twitter. I mean, people like what they are thinking and what they agree with usually. So this is a good tip to look into what people are thinking. Also, Crypto Physician. He's actually one of the person that put me onto what I'm going to talk about on the end, but it's still a very low cap with a lot of potential. It's a new token that's exciting, and I'm going to talk about that here shortly. And you join their Telegram groups, and just go ahead and join the Telegram groups and be active and look at people's shilling tokens, right? And maybe one of them will be a good token. You look into it, read their white paper, learn about their developers, X, Y, and Z. Another good tip is to follow developers. This is a core dev of Yearn Finance. I mean, you got to follow good developers, and if they are saying something, listen, and even look into their likes and see who they're liking. Look into who are they following, because that's who they are looking at. And I mean, Chainlink got Curve Finance. I mean, who is this guy? I don't know, but maybe he's worth looking into. And what is he working on, right? This is how you find good projects, and maybe it takes a while, right? But also it could be worth it in the end, right? So also Zero Molly, right? She's Hedgic. I don't know if it's a she or he. It might be, I don't know because it's anonymous. And then there's some alpha leak right there, guys. Also, she tweets about projects she's working on, and also like you can go ahead and look who she's following, what tweets she's liking, and all this. Index Finance. Who's Index Finance, right? So stuff like that. That's a good way to find new projects. Also, DeFi, like Gus.eth, I just found him last night. He's creating an NFT index fund, which is pretty exciting. And like if you want to find stuff on NFTX, you click on that and see who they're following and see who's building on that and follow their developers and everything. This might be a cool project, right? And it hasn't even went live yet. So obviously you look into it and see if you can get in early and maybe get some type of reward for that. And now let's go into a token that's been having a lot of hype because of Andre Cronje has been talking about it, and I'm going to go through kind of my research process when trying to find information on this token. So another good method is using Twitter and doing the hashtag.sil, and if you don't know what sil is, it is Sil Finance, and they have been talking about integrating with SushiSwap, and it's an impermanent loss control token, and SilV2 just came out. I don't know, it's something to just take into consideration. Look at their website, but one thing I want to show you how to find the person that created this, right? You can look in the following, but really I looked through here, there's not much there. But one thing you can do and just join their Telegram group, and this is how I did it. I joined their Telegram chat, went to it, found the first message, and who's this guy? Who's this guy? Who is this guy? Well, let's find him. So I copied his username because there's no name, and then you go ahead and just put it into Google. Oh, there's his GitHub. Oh, there's his name, Cayman Ha. So who is a developer? Cayman Ha. So there he is. There's his LinkedIn, and this is who the person that developed Sil, or helped develop it at least, wrote the white paper at least. So when you're investing in these very small projects, you can see he's based in San Fran, which is basically the head of the epicenter of cryptocurrency right now, and he works for Paxful, and I mean, you can kind of, it looks like it's one of his side projects, one of his passionate side projects. So this is who you're investing in when you invest in Sil and their tokenomics, right? So that's kind of how a good way to do some research is just be creative about it. Go to the Twitter account, their Discord chat, and we'll get into that more. But now for the token that I have been kind of looking out for, and I have to give Crypto Physician credit because he messaged in the our Dingo's Telegram chat this token, and I looked into it, and it looks interesting. I'm a fan of Hedgic to an extent. The only issue is their anonymous team. I usually don't invest in anonymous teams, but there is a reason why they are anonymous, is because of regulation and crackdown by government entities. So maybe, that's a good reason to be anonymous. That's a good reason. That is a good reason. So Whiteheart, it's a token. They just came out, and actually one of the creators. You want to see how how this is a full loop right now. So this is the white paper, and one thing that's interesting, White Token provides its holders a right to receive a share of fees generated by the protocol. The total supply is 8,888 white. Disclaimer, I did purchase some this morning, so of White Token, and we'll see what happens. You got to be okay with losing it all if you invest in some projects like this, right? So fees are distributed pro rata among the staked White tokens. So there you go. There is cash flow. There is potential cash flow, real tangible cash flows with holding White tokens. And it's not yield farming. It is fees. Fees generated by the protocol, which is huge, because that's what real cash flows are, is when fees are generated by a protocol and then you get rewarded with said fees. So that is a utility, and that is basically earning a dividend on your token, right? So that is why I purchased it right there. That is why. And if we go back up top, here's the full circle right here, guys. Oh, she's a developer of Whiteheart. So there you go, and you go to Hedgic's Discord chat and go to developers and type in Whiteheart. They're talking about a lot, and you can read what they are saying about it. It even has their own tab right here, and you can read what they're talking about here. So, and then decide, educate yourself with, and get asymmetric information. That is the summary of today. Is try your hardest to find asymmetric information that has yet to be priced into the token. And I think this right here, if successful, right? And I think, and the mainnet is launching in February, so that is also asymmetric information. I don't think a lot of people have been talking about White Token and Hedgic, so we'll see what happens. That's all I've been doing, all I've been looking into, and you can go to their website, take a tour, and it looks pretty cool, guys. That is just one token that I've tried to find asymmetric information on, and I decided that I've had enough asymmetric information that I will invest my money into it. So that is all for today. I hope this added value. If you like this and it added value, make sure you like and subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you want to chit chat, Discord and Telegram are in the bio. So that is all for today. Dingos and dingle dingle.